If the Amazon is the deadliest jungle on the planet, what then is the deadliest insect in the Amazon? Well, you're about to find out. 7. The flannel moth caterpillar. This creature looks like someone took a Persian cat, shrank it down, pasted it onto a leaf, and dropped it into the jungle just to stir up trouble. The flannel moth caterpillar is wrapped in what looks like incredibly soft, luxurious fur. Its reddish-brown coat is so remarkably fluffy that it practically begs you to pet it. Whatever you do, do not touch it. Beneath that cute exterior is a hidden armor of toxic spines linked directly to venom sacs. The second those bristles make contact with human skin, they snap off and inject a chemical cocktail. Victims have described the sensation as akin to a broken bone, blunt force trauma, or having a white-hot piece of coal pressed against your bare flesh. The agony isn't just local. The venom radiates up the entire limb, causing severe swelling, nausea, migraines, blistering, chest pressure, and in extreme cases, respiratory distress. To make matters worse, the spines refuse to come out easily. They lock into the skin and usually require tweezers or duct tape to extract. The agonizing symptoms can linger for days. The caterpillar's survival mechanism is a pure optical illusion. Look completely helpless, wait for an inquisitive hand, and then utterly ruin someone's week. It's one of the most calculated evolutionary traps in nature, and honestly, it is highly effective. 6. The fire ant. Native to the floodplains of the Amazon, the fire ant spent millennia adapting to an environment that constantly ends up underwater. Its countermeasure to seasonal flooding is nothing short of terrifying. When the water level rises, millions of ants lock their legs together to construct a living, buoyant raft. This shifting island of angry, stinging insects can float for weeks on end, protecting the queen and larvae until they bump into dry land. And whatever solid object they strike next instantly inherits a massive problem. Fire ants bite with their jaws to get a firm grip, then swing their abdomen around to sting, pumping in a toxic alkaloid venom called solanopsin. This specific chemical compound triggers a burning sensation that feels exactly like open fire. A single ant can inflict multiple stings in a matter of seconds. Worse yet, if you disturb a colony, they don't send a warning sign. They swarm in the thousands and unleash a synchronized assault, coordinated by airborne pheromones that trigger the entire group to strike at the exact same instant. The aftermath is a painful grid of fluid-filled pustules, relentless itching, and for those with allergies, lethal anaphylactic shock. In regions where these ants have spread globally, there are horrific records of fire ants killing bedridden patients in care facilities who physically could not flee. Deep in the Amazon, where the lack of winter frost allows their populations to explode unchecked, stepping into a hidden mound is an accident that will cut any expedition short. 5. The army ant. Pop culture often paints army ants as unstoppable, flesh-dissolving monsters that can clean a human skeleton in seconds. While reality is a bit less theatrical, it is still deeply unsettling. A single colony of army ants can top 15 million individuals, capturing around 3,000 prey items every single hour during a hunt. They never construct permanent nests and never stay put. Instead, they sweep across the jungle floor like a massive, crawling wave, obliterating every living thing small enough to be swarmed, including bugs, geckos, frogs, and ground-nesting birds, before marching on to the next sector. If an individual ant detects a human, it immediately strikes and releases a chemical distress signal to summon backup. Their prey is injected with an immobilizing venom that breaks down tissue, allowing them to tear the target apart piece by piece. For a healthy adult, A run-in usually just means fighting off the massive pincers of the soldier ants, whose jaws are so powerful that local indigenous tribes have historically used them as makeshift surgical staples to clamp open wounds shut. The true peril arises if someone is physically unable to escape, such as an infant, an elderly person, or an injured traveler who collapses directly into the path of an oncoming raiding column. In those tragic scenarios, victims don't die from a calculated attack, but from sheer numbers, massive tissue destruction, and eventual suffocation as thousands of ants invade the respiratory tract. The Amazon's army ants won't hunt you down if you're alert, but the moment you lose focus, they will gladly take advantage of it. If you want to see more interesting videos on Earth's wildlife, hit that subscribe button. 4. The human botfly. While most hostile bugs have the decency to hurt you immediately, the human botfly prefers delayed psychological torment. Specifically, the horror of waking up days after a standard mosquito bite only to realize that the small lump on your arm is actively shifting under your skin. The adult botfly doesn't actually touch its host. Instead, the female intercepts a passing mosquito mid-air, glues up to 24 eggs onto its belly, and lets it go. When that mosquito later lands on a human for a blood meal, the sudden warmth of our body heat causes the eggs to instantly hatch. The tiny larvae then drop down and burrow straight into the flesh. From there, the nightmare truly begins. The maggot tunnels into the subcutaneous layer, positions itself upside down, and spends the next 2 months eating human tissue. It keeps its rear end pointed toward the surface, opening like a snorkel to breathe. Because of this, the sore constantly leaks blood and bodily fluids. As the maggot grows and twists around, it triggers sharp, stabbing pains. Every single person unlucky enough to host one has verified the sickening sensation of feeling something alive moving beneath their skin. Removing it requires precision. If you crush the larva inside the wound, you risk a massive bacterial infection. In infants, larvae that settle on the scalp pose an incredibly dangerous risk, as they can tunnel through the unformed, soft skull plates and infest the brain tissue. The botfly may not be the quickest killer in the jungle, but it is easily the most disturbing. 3. The warrior wasp. The warrior wasp is the ultimate overachiever of the Amazon. While other flying insects deliver a quick sting and move on, this wasp approaches violence with absolute devotion. Its sting lands at a maximum level 4 on the Schmidt pain index, tying for the most agonizing insect sting on Earth. Victims have likened the sensation to being strapped down to burning charcoal, while every single muscle fiber in your body undergoes an involuntary, violent cramp. This agony doesn't just spike and fade, it can lock up a human for hours, leaving you completely helpless while the wasp goes back to its day. What makes the warrior wasp truly iconic, however, is the psychological warfare it deploys before it even attacks. If you get too close, the entire colony will begin tapping their wings against the walls of the nest in perfect unison, creating a rhythmic, mechanical drumming sound. It is a terrifying acoustic countdown that amplifies the longer you linger. If you are still standing there when the drumming stops, you've made a fatal mistake. Warrior wasps are violently protective of their territory and require almost no provocation to attack. Because their large nests can be obscured by thick foliage at any height, stumbling into one by accident is an incredibly common hazard. Field researchers in the rainforest consistently rank this wasp as the single creature they fear encountering most, which is saying a lot in a jungle shared with bullet ants, green anacondas, and jaguars. 2. The tarantula hawk wasp. With a name that sounds like a heavy metal band, the tarantula hawk wasp is easily one of the most terrifying predators on the planet. Its primary job description is hunting massive tarantulas. It doesn't just fight them, It completely paralyzes the giant spider, drags it backward into a deep burrow, glues a single egg to its abdomen, and seals the tomb shut. Over the following weeks, the hatched larva slowly devours the paralyzed, fully conscious spider from the inside out, saving the vital organs for last to keep the meat fresh. By comparison, its interaction with humans is almost merciful. The tarantula hawk boasts a score of 4 on the Schmidt index, rivaled only by the bullet ant. Renowned entomologist Justin Schmidt described the sensation as a blinding, fierce, and shockingly electric jolt. The pain is purely neurological, overloading the body's pain pathways so completely that all cognitive control and physical movement become impossible for several minutes. If you get stung, the danger isn't the venom itself, but the panic people have severely hurt themselves by falling off ledges, stumbling into rivers, or dropping equipment while incapacitated. The good news is, the pain completely vanishes within 5 minutes. The bad news? Schmidt himself noted that the only logical response to being stung by a tarantula hawk is to just lie down on the ground and scream. When the man who literally designed the pain scale tells you to lie down and weep, you follow his instructions. 1. The Amazonian giant centipede. The Amazonian giant centipede is technically not an insect. It possesses far too many legs, way too much attitude, and a pair of heavily modified front claws called forcipules that operate like venom-injecting fangs. However, it calls the Amazon home. It is a living nightmare, and no ranking of jungle terrors could ever claim credibility without including it. Reaching lengths of well over a foot and wielding 21 pairs of legs, this absolute monster is toxic enough to kill a bat, dispatch a small child, and has even been observed scavenging on human remains. They are nocturnal apex predators of the undergrowth. They will literally hang upside down from cave roofs to snatch passing bats right out of midair, and they regularly hunt mice, lizards, and frogs. For humans, a bite delivers an intense, burning agony, coupled with high fevers, massive swelling, and systemic weakness that can persist for days. Their venom is a complex chemical cocktail designed to short-circuit the nervous system and induce a massive, body-wide inflammatory strike. They are blindingly fast when agitated and will strike at anything that crosses their path, which frequently includes the inside of boots left on the ground, tears in mosquito nets, or dark corners where an unsuspecting camper might reach without looking. While a bite rarely claims the life of a healthy adult, the results for children or allergic individuals can be catastrophic. At the very least, an encounter with this creature guarantees a swift medical evacuation and a horror story your friends won't ever turn.